Hey guys, how's it going? So today we will be watching Soremist versus Ryvirath, and by my side commentating I have Ryvirath and Krebmart. Ryvirath is rank 1, he's the Box Battlemaster, and Soremist is rank 1 limited league, my bad.
Title match. What?
Yeah. An old classic, full faction IS versus full faction SL. Both are probably the hardest hitting of the factions with champs that take a lot to bring down. Big difference is that IS has a number of ways to heal their champ that are based on spells or deploys like a Dwarf King, which comes in with Divine Favor, whereas SL relies on regeneration. Still, always a good match.
See that? The one with the nerdy voice, that was Kreb.
Can't help who I am.
Brief introduction.
As you can see here, Sor has deployed Northern Cross Templar and the Lodestone Armory. Both, especially the Templar, very good champ. Probably one of the better ones. Any of you out there that are considering playing IS, I would strongly recommend you consider that for almost any deck. They fit in with Paladin decks, they fit in with Dwarf decks. They even have some synergy with equipment decks due to the way that the Black Label Brew works. So I have not seen Soremist's deck yet, so I'm not sure exactly what to expect. I have seen Riv's deck. So
it's pretty dominant.
It's pretty dominant. It is clearly one of the top meta decks right now, and so you got to know what you're doing. You got to stay on your toes. It can pull out power turns from almost anywhere.
Though, yeah, Soremist has beat me with this deck probably, I think, 3 times now. There's always that one guy who just gets me. It was Kithros before, now it's apparently Soremist. I'm sort of sad that the gauntlet was passed to someone else. I mean, it could just fade away. Anyway, basically the MO for SL, in terms of what's looking to be a protracted game, which this obviously is turning to be, he might be able to move on me next turn and try to do something, but he'd just falter because I have superior firepower right now. But, yeah, you want to get out morphs. For some reason, people upgrade Metamorph. I don't find you need it. You have enough damage on the table to pretty much deal with any threat that would need to be metamorphed. But other than that, you just want to get out Valdak or Vindrex, alternatively, because he's going to tank everything in the early game.
All right. Well, right now, it looks like Soremist has got a choice. He can either try to move in with his big beefy lodestone and hope for the best, or he can keep building up. Probably the better choice at this point is building up. He does have a miner out in the mine. He's moving in. So an aggressive early move. We'll see if it works out for him. But
it's not going to work out for him.
It will. He has a blink. I'm sure he has a blink.
I mean, I can even fruit him right now. This was... I bet he has RD up, and he's going to be very sad when I don't even proc it to kill him. So... I'm sorry, Soremist. Thing doesn't have fire immunity, does it? So many random pieces of shit have fire immunity. Okay, it doesn't.
No, it's got the regular construct immunities. And so there, down goes the armory. If obviously we don't know if he had a righteous deflection up, but if he did, then that was a pretty serious Nora blow to Soremist, because he lost the Nora from the righteous deflection, the champ, of course, and the only thing he got in exchange was the fruit and the 12 Nora from contesting the font one turn. Now, still, he's obviously far from out of it. He's got the advantage of the Nora Miner and mine. So he's maybe was going for an early knockout blow, but he's definitely not going to get it now.
Hmm. I don't necessarily have this one yet, but it's looking that way. That was not a good play for him. I will point out I like his style in running loads and those constructs, the new one, because that's actually a fairly underrated rune. I might actually say it's better than Northern Cross Templar's Iron Fist Slow Nora Beater, just because it has 2 range. Shield throw is range. Yeah, shield throw is range 5. Okay, we'll say 1 range 6 attack, 1 range 5 attack, and you're gonna run Grobels anyway, the initiative Grobels, because they're fantastic. You'd be stupid not to. So that gives you 4 champs that remote can trigger, which is basically the best equip in the game if you're triggering it.
So
Plus,
Ryvirath.
if you're going that way, you might as well be running your dragon tanks.
Yeah.
So Ryvirath and Krebmart. Lots of people must be wondering how you guys are so good. Any tips for any beginners watching this?
I always get asked this question. I'm not really sure how to respond. You try this one, Kreb.
I would say that the big difference between the players as they move up in the ranks is the extent to which they count squares. A lot of newer players, they just sort of eyeball it. They think, well, this looks like it's about 6 spaces, or, I don't think it can get me, and then they just hit end, which is perfectly natural when you're learning the game. You're probably more focused on trying to figure out what it was that was deployed against you and what you want to be doing next rather than counting squares. Once you've developed that basic knowledge, though, it really does come down to counting. I highly recommend that all players, especially new players, but all players, really play with the grid on. You can hit the G key to show the grid, and just trying to do simple stuff, just trying to make sure that you're staying out of double tap range, double attack range from opponents. All those sorts of things will help improve. After that, it's just really practice. The more you play, the better you get.
A lot of people are wondering if you have to have an expensive BG to be a good player, because a lot of people are on a budget.
Yeah,
not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. But what the money does let you do is it lets you play a lot more things. And there are some runes which are just very powerful and very expensive. I mean, the morph, which Riv has out right now, is fantastic, especially with SL's power turn spells being so expensive. So I would venture to say that if you're determined to play a full faction deck in a specific faction, you are going to have to spend a certain amount of money in getting those runes. Once you've moved, and actually that's one of the great ironies is that a lot of people think that by limiting themselves to a single faction, it's actually going to be cheaper. Usually it isn't. Usually it's actually more expensive. Because you can get there are a lot of very good common, uncommon, and rare runes out there, and many of which you can get from the gold store, most of which are very easy to trade for. And you can put those together to make very effective splits. It's splits that will win against anything. Whereas if you do want to play full faction SL right now, or UD or IS, you're looking at, to get the best deck possible, you are looking at a pretty substantial investment.
I actually have a fairly relevant anecdote to this point. There was a random. It was one of the times I was rank 1. So one of these random players comes up to me. He's in the top 100, and tells me I absolutely suck, and all my runes just win the game for me. Basically, the $ wins my games. And so I asked him to give me his deck list. It was FFUD, some sort of weird hybrid of. He got a few runes, like he had 1 Demonologist and a Maxeric, but everything else was kind of meh. And I asked him to give me his deck list. I put it together, and we played. Soundly trounced him, because apparently for him, me playing with his mirror was going to be the measure of skill. I think he was fairly disappointed when he realized that wasn't the case. I haven't actually seen him since that. It was actually rather gratifying though.
All right. Well, as you can see, Soremist has pulled back from the early loss. He figures he can absorb the Nora damage since he's got the Nora gen out, the 2 miners in the mine. He does have the mortar crew, which is just fantastic for these sorts of situations.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's getting shrine bombed. Probably have to decide if I want to do it. I could do it this turn, but it's so much moves to make in a minute. I don't really feel like it. So I'll play something. Or I won't. I'll deploy something.
so right now, Swordmist is using artillery strikes with his mortar crew. Not sure exactly on what square he's centered them, but obviously the Templar is in no danger, seeing as it has immunity fire, and the mortar crew's attack is fire. Um, so he's also deployed Inquisitor Magnus, which is quite possibly the strongest rune in the game.
Against Wrath. It's not
Against
that
Wrath.
fantastic. It's
That's
not that
right.
fantastic against Protectorate, but it's still good.
It's still
worthy
good.
of its
It's
call.
not it's not an embarrassing deploy against Protectorate at all, but against Wrath, it is just phenomenally powerful. So there goes the artillery strike, and as you can see, it bounces off harmlessly. So
Yeah. He's losing his. Yeah, he's losing his shrine next turn to. Well, I've got a ton of Nora, but I don't need to use it all. He'll lose it to an Enslave Quicken. I might throw in a Tornado for kicks.
So he has targeted his mortars somewhere again. Undoubtedly, this time trying to hit Valdak and Judge Taurine rather than the 2 champs that have fire immunity. But we'll see if he recognizes the danger to his shrine.
So how much over will I go? So it's 3. It's 13. Oh, I hate it when I lose track of numbers like that.
All right. Well, it doesn't appear that unless he fortifies his shrine, he is in trouble here.
But I don't need to bother calculating. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So he did fortify the shrine. He was aware of the danger. The danger, of course, is not over yet, since it means next turn he either has to transfigure, which will put a serious drain on his Nora advantage, or he's got to figure out a way to stop all these champs that are running toward him.